Welcome, everyone, to Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. In this series, we meet with real estate professionals and experts, and they share their knowledge, their experience, their lessons learned, so that we can learn from it and we can build our strategy around, their strategies, any ideas that you get, but also learn from what not to do. My name is Debbie Balfour, and I'm a real estate investor and a real estate investing success coach. As a success coach, I help my clients who are real estate investors to build their personalized real estate investing strategy and scale efficiently so that you can start enjoying financial freedom and time freedom. What I mean by scaling efficiently is that we are business owners and we need to get into that business owner mindset. So it's not just about investing. You need to start building your business around your investing so that you can scale. If you acquire, by the time you acquire 2-3 properties, now you're not getting visibility to, where you are, your processes, you keep recreating the wheel, and we want to avoid that. We want to give you back time so that you can work on your business, not in your business. My special guest today is Donna Cook. And Donna is a real estate investor who specializes in rent to own. She's also a good friend of mine, and I'm really excited to have her here. Donna lives in a small rural town in Manitoba. She has 2 sons and 3 grandkids, and family is extremely important to her. So they spend a lot of time on the lake. That's their favorite thing to do. And this year they traveled together to Costa Rica. Donna is also, what's important to Donna also is health and wellness. This is critical to her. She also loves sports, to be active. She does yoga, golfing, ski-doing, and and paddleboarding. So and hiking. So you can see that her love for the water is is included in there. She loves to combine business with pleasure. So she spends a lot of time traveling to real estate investing, conferences and summits and networking events. And then she likes to tack on some time to explore and adventure for where she is. So and next February, maybe we can talk a little about it at the end too, Donna. So next February, Donna will be speaking at REI at Sea, which is a real estate focused cruise. So it's a fun cruise where you get to, again, combine fun with business. And the fun cruise will be going to Mexico and Honduras. So Donna, before we get into our topic, which will be about rent to own, which is Donna's specialty, as I mentioned before, can you give us a little bit of a background on your journey in real estate?
Hi, Debbie. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, I started in 2009. I guess really I've always been in real estate. My dad was a builder, so I've always been involved in it. And I was painting houses, when I was really young. And I had a couple rental houses a while ago. But 2009, when I mostly started getting going and did a lot of flips and did some rentals, some small multifamilies, built some cottages, did some duplex conversions, and it kind of settled in with rent to own. And, I still have some of the other strategies going, but I really like rent to own. I like what it does for investors, for myself, and also helping the tenants.
What is it that you like about rent to own?
Well, it's a good safe, I don't want to say anything's completely safe. There's nothing safe. And believe me, I've made all the mistakes, you learn from all of those. And, but I feel it's a little safer than, let's say, my rentals have been. We don't have the absolute best rental landlord tenant act here in Manitoba. I mean, it's not too bad, but you feel safer with a rent to own because the tenant wants to buy that house. They are taking care of it. They may be improving it, and you also have a deposit up front. So that's part of the advantage. And then once you do have it, you have no maintenance. The tenant's taking care of the maintenance. They pay the utilities. You don't have vacancies. You don't have a realtor fee at the end. And like I said, the tenant is taking care of it, and you have that deposit just in case.
So can you give us a brief description of what rent to own is?
Well, I mean, basically, it's helping a client, tenant, buy a house. And right now, they just don't qualify. And they go through a process, and then in the end, they qualify. Once they're finished in the program, then we help them qualify for a mortgage. Now, there's lots of ways to do rent to own. The way I do it, I like to do tenant first. I just feel like if they can pick out their own house, they will be more successful. So we go through a qualification process, quite a big, intense qualification process, because I think that's the most important part of the whole strategy. And then once we look at that, they talk to my mortgage broker. We find out what their situation is right now. Why did they get there? What can they do to improve it? We give them a plan to work through, and we stay in touch with them for the whole term of the program. And then at the end, we help them get that mortgage. So while they are in it, they are, a homeowner in training. So they get to take care of the house and paint the walls and have a dog and whatever they want to do. And but what's important of it is, I think some steps are like, we help them pick out the house. We do qualify them. We have all the contracts in place, and we help them get that mortgage in the end. And I think with all those steps, that helps them be more successful.
That sounds great. How have you structured, like, are you funding all these rent to owns yourself? Like, how is it structured?
I have some myself. My last one I did with RRSP funds, and that was really great because an investor got to put their funds into a brand new property for 3 years, so they know it's safe. They have Olympia funds ready to go, and I purchased it that way. Most of mine, though, are with joint venture partners. And so they qualify for the mortgage. We are buying in Manitoba and then also looking at Alberta. So our prices are really, really nice here compared to, the rest of Canada, let's say. And all our houses are, 400,000 and under. And once the investor qualifies for the mortgage and puts the down payment down, then they're finished and they are completely passive. I take care of the whole investment, the tenant, the house, the financials, and then I oversee the credit coaching. It's not me, it's not my expertise. I have a credit coach that works with them, and then we will help them get that mortgage at the end, and then we sell it to them, and then we're done.
What a
On to the
nice
next one.
what a nice feeling to be able to help someone get their first home. But
Well,
get
so
in
many
before,
investors, yeah.
right? Yeah.
So many investors just love this because they were able, sure, we're making it's a safe, I feel like quite a safe investment for us. It's profitable, but we're also helping people. And sometimes people just, stuff happens. And, it's maybe someone's been through a divorce or had a job stoppage for a while and now they're catching up. Maybe the credit cards got racked up there a bit, their credit score's not so good, or they just need some time to save for a deposit.
Or sometimes it's new immigrants to Canada, right?
Exactly.
They may be
Yes.
coming in with some money, but they can't you know, qualify for a mortgage. All right.
Yeah, I've had
Yeah.
3 immigrant families too.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were very successful and said that they wouldn't have been able to do that in their country, but they were able to do it here.
Wow, what a nice feeling. I love when you can invest and help, help society, help others, like investing with purpose, part
Yes,
of it,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And so as a passive investor, you could get that warm and fuzzy feeling knowing that you're helping someone and making money at the same time and getting
Exactly.
returns. So yeah, I love this strategy. I think it's amazing. So what are I started talking about like that warm and fuzzy. So what are some of the advantages for an investor? And then what are some of the advantages for a tenant doing the rent to own?
Well, I did mention some of them because we have no maintenance, we have no vacancies. We're buying, a good market that's appreciating but steady, diverse economy here. But we're also getting cash flow, mortgage pay down, and the appreciation on the property. And then if they're happen to be investing with me, I'm doing all the work on it. And we also have that security of an upfront deposit from the tenant. They pay us monthly payments as well. And then of course all the contracts are in place. I provide all the contracts. So I'm making sure everybody does what they're supposed to be doing.
What's a typical period for a rent to own?
Usually 3 years. I've done 1, 2, and I got a couple now going 4 years.
Okay,
But
but
3 years just seems to be the sweet
sweet
spot,
spot.
giving them some time to save for the deposit, and then their payments maybe aren't too high. And then also a credit coach can fix most things within 3 years.
Right. What's nice about this strategy is you have like an almost guaranteed buyer at the end, that you have this exit strategy that you know that you've got this buyer. Have you had a
Well,
case?
yeah, I just never want to say the word guarantee.
Yeah, that's why I said almost guaranteed.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
so I was gonna
if
ask
they
that
don't
question.
buy it, sometimes something happens, and so we still have plan B, C, D. I've had one that wanted to downsize, and they've changed their mind now, and so we'll give them part of their deposit back, but then we're going to sell it, and in this case, we will actually make more money on it by selling it on MLS than selling it to them. Just happened to be where it is, and the market there and that sort of thing. But to me, it's a win-win. Their whole family life changed, and now they are getting something different, and then we'll help them out onto their next step.
So what are some of the exit strategies if they don't, um, if they don't purchase?
Well, we could just turn around and put another rent-owned tenant in it.
Mhm.
So if they decide to leave for whatever reason, we look through the house, make sure it's still in good condition. If something needs fixing up from the previous tenant, we do take that out of their deposit, and then we're ready to go to the next tenant. Another strategy could be just selling it. And, it depends, what's a conversation with my investor and also the market, the house, all kinds of things. And then I guess if we had to, we could rent it.
Right.
Wouldn't be my first choice for sure, but it can be rented, and you can still cash flow, and just not as good as if it's a rent to own.
Right. So
And
what
then
is
when
some,
I do say rent to own, we are cash flowing. I'm talking about pure cash flow because we charge them rent while they're in the program. And then also separately, they have that option payment that they're paying towards their down payment.
right.
And so when I say there's cash flow on the rental portion. You might hear other people talking about rent own and saying, oh my God, the cash flows of, 2000 a month or whatever. Well, quite often usually they're including the option payment. And I want to be, upfront that is not your money. That's
Right.
the tenant's money. And this cash flow is real cash flow, just like
Right.
if you had a rental. It's just that we can charge a little more for the rent.
So you're charging market rents. However, you're not having to pay for the maintenance and all those other
Exactly.
things that you normally would with a long-term
Yeah.
rental. So that's where that really nice cash flow comes in, is that
Mhm.
they're
And we're
looking
charging
after
a
it.
bit above market rent. We are putting them into taking a chance on them, let's say.
Right. Okay. So for the
And
risk.
so we're helping them through a process. And then right now with the interest rates so high, a lot of rentals are not cash flowing. So we are making sure we cash flow. Like I'm not going to start a rent to own if we're negative. That to me doesn't make sense as an investment.
Mm,
And so our rents are higher. So we make sure we're covering all our costs.
that's amazing. What are some of the challenges though with rent that you may encounter with rent to own?
Well, I mean, maybe someone doesn't qualify. Actually, in 10 years, I've only had one not qualify. And honestly, it was their fault. I hate to say, I always feel really bad if someone doesn't qualify, but the more I looked into it, and we gave them an extra 8 months, and then they've been going to Disneyland and doing these things and not checking in with our credit coach and that sort of thing. And so we gave them extra chances, and we, explained everything a lot of times. So, it's their choice. So they are going to go move somewhere else, and we're selling it. So that's a challenge. But it happens that it's a good house in a good area, and we are going to sell that house. Or maybe another challenge could be they don't quite, we have 3 that we're extending this year. And, some of that's no fault of the tenant at all. One of the tenants, she had cancer and didn't work for a year, but they did not miss one payment. And then they had problems with CRA. So they've, kind of messed them around for, a couple of years trying to fix their what they actually owe in taxes. So now that's finally straightened out, and so we've given them an extra few months to get that ready. But there's no way we wouldn't have given them another chance because they deserve it. And
And they're good
yeah,
tenants and they'll keep paying. They're
yeah,
not trying to come out of it. So it's
no,
just
no,
extending, that
yeah.
end
And the
date on the
purchase
sale.
price will be a little higher just because it's appreciated a little bit more because it's a little bit down the road now.
Right.
I guess someone could damage it. I honestly haven't had that problem. No willful damage or anything, maybe, bangs here and there or whatever. And we just go in and kind of do a little fix and, hopefully move on.
That's one of the other advantages of rent to own, from an investor's perspective, because they've got tenants in there that are not the typical tenants. These are tenants that are going to own this home, so they're not going to go around and punch holes in the doors and these kind of things
Exactly.
that you get with tenants that, long-term tenants that they don't really care. It's not theirs. They'll wreck
Yeah,
it if they want. Right.
exactly.
So that's what who can do this and where?
Well, it has to be in an appreciating market. Doesn't work if the market's not appreciating. And, you want to be knowledgeable. I took a course on it. I, set up my websites, and I went through a lot of big processes with this. I've paid for my lawyer to draw up all the documents. I want everything, all the contracts in place properly. And, anybody can do it, but I think you should be well versed in it before you even consider it. I get calls all the time on people trying to, you know, finish their investment. Well, they haven't set it up properly, or they haven't taken care of the tenant, or they don't have their contracts properly done, and they can't, now the tenant can't qualify. And I don't think you should just, treat it lightly and just say, hey, I think I'll try rent to own. I think you need to know what you're doing and do it properly, or don't do it. And or you can work with a rent to own provider.
So who are some of the who's your power team when you're doing rent to own? Because it's different to just a long term. So who are the key people that you need to put
Well,
together?
for sure, a mortgage broker, I have more than one, but a mortgage broker is looking at it a little bit differently because they're looking at the tenant today. this is where you are right this moment, but if you do this, this, and this, they have to do some planning for that tenant and do a review. And then they can say to us, okay, in 3 years, this is where you should be, as long as you follow through on this plan. So that's a little bit different. Having a realtor that will take them out and show them the houses. Once we have that plan in place, we know what they can afford and we know where they want to be and what kind of house they want. So we look with only my realtor takes them out and specifically shows them those houses. And my realtor's well versed in renovations and things like that. We don't want to be renovating houses. We want houses that are already in good condition, newish. Just bought my first brand new one this year, so that was a good experience. Um, and then also it has to be an average house just in case it doesn't work. So they're all like a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, full basement, garage, mostly garages, and possibly a fenced yard.
Right. So, and it has to work for both you and for the tenant when it comes to, so that, it's not just about what the tenant needs, but it needs to be something that you can then repurpose after if
Exactly.
they
And
decide
then of
not to.
course, I'm working with an investor, so I'll match an investor up to the price point that this tenant's looking for. We get a home inspection, we get an appraisal, so we do all the background information to make sure it is a good purchase.
Mhm.
I also want it for this tenant to last, 10 years or something. Like, I mean, continue on to be a good investment for them, not just last the 3 years that we're involved with them.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So, I love what you were saying though about like when getting into this strategy and what I was talking about before about it's a business. So you
Absolutely.
need to like go to your lawyer and get the right documents before you set up your process. You've got your checklist, you build your team and you have all of those things in place. And then you go forward and do this because once you do that, it's rinse and repeat after that. It makes it so much easier. And then you've got, you also have your investors on the other side too. So it's like, it's lots of moving parts and get it right at the beginning. And then it can be smooth sailing, but you've got to think about your investors. You've got to think about your power team. You've got to think about your tenant and and all of those the processes that you got to go through. And also like you said, it's like you're constantly getting monitoring and getting status reports and those kind of things on how things are
Yeah,
going.
absolutely. I mean, it is a big system that I have put together, and it's been 10 years just with rent. Oh, but I've been in real estate a lot longer. And
Mhm.
every time I do one, I review it. What can we do a little bit better? Or government changes. CMHC loves to
Regulations,
change their mind
yeah.
every week. And so then now we have to look at what were we doing as far as hopefully that this tenant will still qualify. And then like lawyers, you're right, I didn't mention lawyers. Like we have several lawyers involved, because most of my investors are from out of town, so they use my lawyer to purchase the house. We have another lawyer that I can't be using for anything else. If we do a RSP mortgage, then they act for my investor for that. We might say, that I have another lawyer that's writing up the contracts. And so, yeah, there's that big process. And then also the mortgage broker that's working with my clients, the credit coach. Then we also have, may or may not be the same mortgage broker that's going to help my investor, because you absolutely need an investor focused mortgage broker involved.
So how do you find these clients that are looking for it? Do you just like post it somewhere? Like how do you find your clients?
I actually don't really market. I mean, I have off and on. Right now, I'm just getting a lot of applications just through my website. They search on Google, and I come up number one in Manitoba, and then I can get referrals. So especially from realtors, a realtor. has a client come to them and they want to buy a house, but then they find out they don't qualify. So the realtor can come to me, bring me their tenant. I can, let's say they do qualify for us, then the realtor still gets to make a sale. Then I'll use that realtor to purchase the house. Mortgage brokers, just people in general that are in the real estate business,
Right.
property managers.
It's so important to build your network and those relationships. So,
Yeah,
like you said, you're not doing like a lot of this is coming from your website, but I guess people are now used to going there. But for those, like, it's amazing that, like you said, property managers, having relationships with property managers, realtors, and mortgage brokers, where they will be seeing clients that would be in the need for this, or maybe people didn't even consider it, didn't even know it was there, and they could help you, say, oh, have you considered rent to own?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we don't want someone, let's say, that's out partying every night and, messing up their credit. But sometimes it's just like we talked earlier, it's just sometimes people got into a bad situation or something happened to them and they're really, really determined to turn it around and buy their own house for their family.
Mm. Do you ever work with any immigration networks?
I'm joining BNI, and there's an immigration lady there, and so we're going to be seeing if we could put on some workshops. And in that same BNI group is a lawyer and a mortgage broker that are also doing this. So I'm hoping we can do
Nice.
something together. And
Yeah.
then that's just another way of getting information out to people.
So you're doing this in Manitoba. Will this system work in places like Ontario and BC where, especially like Toronto, Vancouver thing, will it
Yeah,
work here?
I'm not doing it there. There are other people doing it there. When I'm talking to investors and I can say, you can come here and make a great investment for under 400,000. So I just don't want to go to Ontario where it costs 3 times as much. And then
Mhm.
the investor has to put out an awful lot to be able to make a good return. We can make a good return here. Friday, I'm going to Edmonton and I'll be looking at more properties there because I've already started that process. I have a team in place. And so that'll be my next step. And another thing I'm looking at is getting, when I bought this townhouse, this new one, I've been talking to a couple of builders to see if myself with investors, if we could buy, let's say, the whole package, the whole 5 townhouses all in a row, and
Mhm.
then get a better price, and then do the rent to own on those. And that's kind of a little bit of a way of scaling it up, and but still helping people out.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then those, when you're buying those row homes, they have separate PIDs, so you can,
They
so
all have separate titles.
yeah, so you're able to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, they're not, and
that's a
not
good
condos. I
idea.
never buy condos. I don't need condo fees.
Yes. Eats into the cash flow. And also
Yes.
it's very limiting. With all the condo rules, it
Yeah,
becomes
and
very restrictive.
yeah, I'd rather it just be, for the amount of grass you have on a townhouse, you can weed whack it or hire someone for, $20 and
Yeah,
that instead of paying, 200 fees or whatever it is.
awesome. So Donna, this is like I said, I've always been excited about this strategy. I love what you do. I love the advantages to an investor, then the advantages to your tenants and how you're helping society, helping people, especially, right now, it's so everybody talks about I'm never, my children will never get a home, will never, how difficult it is to afford a home. And this is helping people get there, and it's like buying your car and getting it right at the beginning to use it, although you're making payments towards it. This is the
Exactly.
same kind
Yeah.
of thing. You get to start enjoying your home, that you'll eventually, own. So it's a
And they
really
improve
wonderful.
them as well. Like one of the ones, the lady that, like I said, we had to extend theirs, I viewed the house the other day. They've already got flooring for the basement. I says, just go buy some ceiling tiles because when we bought it was considered an unfinished basement, but it's
Mhm.
all drywalled and walls are, rooms are there and everything's just got no flooring or a ceiling. And so it still has to be considered unfinished. And so if they finish that off, it's mostly going to be labor on their part. They just built in some more equity
So
because it's probably worth another 10,000 just by finishing off the
finishing,
base.
and then if they decide to pull out, then that's your property now. That's now in
Well, in
your
that
case.
case, they're buying it for sure, so it'll be
Yes.
their equity. So
Well, it's
yeah,
like they have skin in the, and this is what's so great,
exactly.
is they have skin in the game. So it's
Yep.
not so easy. Like it has to be extreme circumstances for them to decide, no, I'm not going to
Right.
purchase this. So, so it's awesome. So Donna, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, just Donna Cook. And of course, I have a website, freedomlifestyleinc.com. And then my email is donna@freedomlifestyleinc.com.
Excellent. So, well, thank you so much, Donna, for your time. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you sharing your experience and expertise with us. And like Donna said, and it will be posted with this video, how to get in touch with her. She loves meeting, other investors, and she is actually, I didn't say that, but back in 2000, she was coined the rent to own queen. And she wears her crown well.
Well,
So
kind of embarrassing, but whatever.
I had to tease you about it. Oh, so thanks so much, Donna, and you have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you.